Okay, I am Hazel Hopkins. My mother was a Burleson. She died when I was 14 years old, and I've kind of lost track. But I knew I was a Burleson with that strong will. And my daughter's best friend in school was a Burleson, and I tried to connect, say, hey, you're our cousin. But that didn't happen until Don came along and wanted to know more about the Burlesons also, so that's how we started. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. You learn a lot of history, meet a lot of good people, and I just wish my mama could have known about it. I'm doing it in honor of her.
I'm Mike Hopkins. I've been married to this thing beside of it about 45 years now. We kind of touched on Burleson when in high school and on my Hopkins family too, but we kind of lost track. Don came down and he wanted to know more, so I started dragging him around, and Mr. Thurman would come up and he would take us around and show us different places. And I really enjoyed meeting and helping out with the graveyards and whatever I can. And one thing to kind of touch on what John said, he said his grandpa knew everything. My granddaughter asked me, she said, Papa, do you know everything and know everybody? And don't you never shut up.
I'm Calvin Burleson, and my daddy was Shelley Burleson, and my mother was Teeny Van Hoy Burleson, and the way I got started in this outfit was he come to my house and wanted to know if I knew any Burlesons. I said, yeah, I know a few. And he said, they are in Rowan County. I said, well, the only ones I know is right around my neighborhood is my family. And I introduced him to my mother, and she knows, she was the talker of the family, and she introduced herself and told her about what she knew, partly, and then I mentioned Lena Burleson in Stanley County. He said, you know where she lives? I said, yeah. How about taking me down there? Well, I took him down there. That's how I started in this. And I don't know what year it was, but that's about the size of it.
It was 1994,
94.
and I asked my mother who my great-grandfather was, who my father had passed away, and she didn't know. She said, I need to ask my father's sister. And my sister, my father's sister was Ruth Color. And
You talking?
she said, you need to go see 18.
Right.
And I said, I didn't know I had an 18. I lived for 45 years thinking that the only Burlesons in the world, besides Tommy Burleson, was my cousins in Thomasville. And so Ruth and Billy Culler, my aunt and uncle, brought me down, and the only house that we could find was Shelley's old farmhouse, and that's where Lowell and Blanche lived. And Lowell was at the beach, I think, working on the beach house or something. He was at the beach fishing or something. I didn't meet Lowell that day, but Blanche took me to meet 18. And that was an experience. She's a little old lady, but she come out of the bedroom with a little bitty briefcase. And she plopped that thing on the kitchen table and opened it up, and I thought she brought the world out of that briefcase, because she had, I think I found out later that a lot of the stuff that she got from Thurman. But she knew the names and told me everything.
She got most of it from Jeff.
Okay, that's probably so.
Because he stayed with us from the time I was 10 years old till I was 18, 19.
That's probably also. But I found out that my grandfather still had a sister living, Aunt May, and they took me to meet her. And this was before I found out about the Isaac Senior Memorial. This was just the basic starts of me just asking questions. And like I said, when I found that book in the library and what Aunt Tina gave me, I thought I was through. I thought I had everything I needed. But my wife will comment on it, but Teen had a TV the size of a wall. I mean, you sat in there and that TV was as big as the wall. And we thought that was the best thing.
No, not that.
It was, back then, it was unusual to see a big screen TV, but they had one.
Well, what made it so big is he had it about 2 feet from the sofa. It was so cute. And he said, "Let me show you." And he turns on a big train. And you think the train is just going to run all over you.
But needless to say, I made several more trips to Calvin's and to all his family. Calvin was my father's, or is my father's first cousin. So as far as kinfolk in here, me and him are about as close as they get. As far as everybody in here is probably third or fourth cousins. Now, me and Calvin's first, once removed. First cousins. Me and John are true third cousins.
We'll double first cousins.
Double first cousins. And a lot of us would have to take my computer and plug the names in to find out exactly, but we're all cousins, that's for sure. But Calvin was very instrumental in getting me started and showing me around down here. I think you took me and showed me where Billy's grave was at, where Evan's grave was, and that's all I got. So catch Carol.
I think he knows a little bit too.
Who?
He needs to say a little bit.
My name is Carol Burleson, and I'm a charter member. I'm married to JD, and I'm here really just to support him. Genealogy is not my hobby, and a lot of times I sit back in the corner and read a book or something, but I try to support him in every way I can. I proofread his work and edit it for him, and mine's really behind the scenes.
Catherine Talbert, and I am in the Lawsons through my mother, Nora. John and I are first cousins. I attended off and on for a number of years. I live on a farm, and I guess the one thing that John wanted to do was see if they could locate, or we could locate the Eford cemetery. And I live on that farm, and the barn is made of timbers from the Jacob Eford first house. That's through my mom. The other thing is, and I'm delighted to hear about the Texas connection. I love history and have a minor in history, so all of this is really great. But I have a real good friend that I taught school with who was born in Texas, raised in Texas, and married a North Carolina boy. She's about 10 years younger than I am, and she has just learned that her lineage goes back through her mother to the Burlesons. In Texas, the fellow who was at Baylor is in her lineage. And a vice president of something, John helped me on this. I'm not quite, what was he vice president of, somebody? That I gave you some names?
I think you send it to Edwards, which is
Yeah.
Vice President of Texas, General
Okay.
Edwards.
So and she's just a dear friend. So I said, well, we're kissing cousins now. So I'm just delighted to be in the group.
My name's Alvin Burleson, and I don't know how we got started on this thing. We had a meeting that did down here at the library the first time. Then we formed a BS, whatever it is, person Family Association Research Group.
There you go.
And appreciate all JD and John Hole's done and everybody. Appreciate JD's wife putting up with him, all this research stuff. And I don't know what else to say, but I've enjoyed it and been doing a lot of stuff. Not been doing much lately. Went to the library in Raleigh a lot of times, and you could take out the papers, the land grant stuff, out of the folders back then, and they won't let you do that now, I understand. So I don't have anything else to say, but we appreciate everything anybody's done.
Thank you. And Louise, you got anything you'd like to? Robert and Rosemary, would you like to share how y'all found out about the group and how you got started?
I'll make a brief comment. I'm Robert Adams. I'm married to Rosemary Adams, and I'm here by proxy.
And he left out the most important thing, that I'm a Burleson, my father was Hurley Raymond. And I'm just so grateful to John Burleson and JD and Hazel and so many in here that have done the research, because I'm a latecomer. I've only been involved 3 or 4 years, and the sense of family is beautiful, because most people I know are from Isaac Jr., but they've invited me in. It made me feel like I'm part of this family, and it's a great feeling. And thank you for all that research you've done.
Did you get your DAR completed?
Ask me on camera.
Is it almost done?
It's ready. My only problem, and I just mentioned it to Hazel, is the Joseph and his wife passed away during flu, and the influenza came through. And the records, there's no records except what John has given me, which is court records, to prove that he was also a son of Isaac Sr. And Hazel just said, I need to go ahead and send that in, and hopefully that will pass.
I think it will.
And everything is ready though, it's just me sending it in.
Nancy?
I'm Nancy Burleson. I'm the wife of John H., or John Hall, and I was drafted down here. I'm a Yankee, and I came down here from Central New York, and after John and I met I came down in 91, John and I met around 97, 98, and we started dating at that time, and then he got me to come to the meeting with him, and next thing I knew I was secretary for a couple years. Then I finally got Hilda to take that. She was gracious enough to take that over, and she's been doing a great job on that. And then Daniel was treasurer, acting treasurer at that time, and then he went off to school, so Nancy got to take care of his books, and I've been doing that ever since. I just kind of fell into the group with John, and John was real interested in it, and I just followed suit. Just trying to keep up what I've enjoyed. One of the things I've enjoyed the most is the people I've met. The Burlesons are good people, and I really enjoy, they even accepted me as a Yankee.
Prisoner.
Prisoner, yeah. And that's it. That's all I'll say for now.
Okay. Kathleen? Like to share anything?
I went with Thurman that day to the ceremony, and I know I laughed and told him that I was glad I was in his car, not mine, because we were in the field, like we parked in the field, and it was very nice that day.
I beg your pardon, you were with whom?
With Thurman and Major that evening. I went with them.
Well,
That was when we first located.
that was prior.
No.
Thurman had passed away when we did.
Oh, you did the ceremony when you did the
Yeah, this was in 95, and Thurman passed away in 91.
I remember went across the pasture with the car.
Yes, I could.
There wasn't no pasture.
No, it wasn't pasture.
I think it was a cotton patch out there, wasn't
It
it?
was terrible.
Well, it was, when we first located it, actually, we walked all the way across the woods from the backside. And then we found out we could get around about, closer, a lot closer to it later on.
Can anyone
Thank
actually
you.
say where this cemetery is?
Pardon?
A couple people don't know where the cemetery is,
Dusty Road.
Okay, right.
but where is Dusty Road?
Okay, you go out to Charlotte Road I had maps made for all our members in the Burleson chapter.
Between Lambert and Red Cross.
Right. And you take Ridge Crest, 3.5 miles, you go to Dusty Road, and you go half a mile up, and it's a little gate on the right there, you go up through a field around the corner, and it's up in some pines. Not necessarily pines, but the hardwoods. Yeah. And, I remember I had about 100 of these made for people to find their way. And then we had a sign down at the road, on Dusty Road, pointing the way this way.
Wasn't that also one of the cemeteries, the first cemetery that we put the fence around?
That was the first cemetery.
That was the first one,
Right.
that the
Chain
Burleson
link,
Research
chain
Group
link.
put the fence around.
Has anybody been taking care of the cemetery?
Has anyone been there lately?
Yes, we were out there, it's
Oh,
not
6
been
6 months, that's good.
6 months or so.
Is that all right?
Well, John, you was out there, when did you have your picture taken cleaning it out for, it was in the paper? Was that a year ago, or?
That's probably a year ago, but I've been there about, well, I guess that's the last time. But being in the woods like that, there's no weeds or vines or anything, it's pretty much the same. There's a few vines, you can pull them up by hand, but it's in pretty good shape.
Is there a road directly leading to it? I
Yeah,
didn't
there
think so, because I know when we went that day, we parked in a field, and I haven't been since the dedication.
You can get within 100 yards by edge of the field, and then you have to walk across.
So it depends on what's in the field, if you can get across.
Yeah.
Now that we've got a lottery, if I ever win that, we'll buy that property. Would I win it?
You got a better chance of being hit by lightning than you have with the lottery.
You got it. You got it.
Does anybody else have any remembrances of that cemetery or that day? Ron?